the
I
damage
think he's I think
this
he's a
is
bad
doing.
guy.
Like,
He's caused. My definition of bad is causes harm.
Welcome to that Japanese thing. We're talking about Lupin again. That's a thing we do quite often, right?
We've done a few of them now.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast, everyone. My name's Chris. Today with me is Dylan Yesh. And we're talking about Lupin the Third versus Cat's Eye. Cat's Eye being an anime from the 80s, which I've never heard of before watching this movie, I guess. Either of you?
No.
No. What? Oh, is it like focusing on the three heroines specifically?
Yeah, no, they're art thieves. They're art thieves who steal art.
Oh, so this is almost like the Lupin versus Sherlock Holmes book from like the 90s. Like it's a crossover essentially.
So
It's a
yeah,
crossover,
there's.
Okay.
I had thoughts about that as well, but this is
Okay.
the third crossover film for Lupin.
Yeah.
There's apparently there's like a One Piece one. I think there's a Detective Conan.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a Detective Conan one. Absolutely.
What? Okay.
Anyway, I'm sure it's just
Very
like a 10-minute like O&A or whatever, you know. But this is an hour and a half proper film. I don't know if it was released in theaters.
I don't believe this was released in theaters.
I mean, you'd feel like you would release this sort of thing, at least in Japan, to see if you could get anyone to go. But their game...
The studio that makes it, sorry to interrupt you, the studio that makes it makes stuff specifically for one of the TV networks in Japan. I forget exactly. It's
So oddly enough, this is actually made exclusively for Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's probably why I didn't get like a proper release.
A theater release, yeah.
So yeah, this is the non-experimental second film in the series. The first one was Lupin the First, which was the completely 3D one.
Heavy CGI one.
Yeah, I think there was.
Although this one had lots of CGI as well.
No, this was completely CGI. There was no hand drawing in this movie, apparently, which is really remarkable because it doesn't feel that way. I mean, I'm sure they fiddled with all the characters quite a lot, but apparently none of this was hand drawn whatsoever. And
The characters were certainly 3D models, but I thought the backgrounds were much more old school anime style,
right?
At least for me.
I mean, you could definitely tell at points that everything was a bit
Chase
more
scenes and stuff.
floaty.
There was a more of that 3D floatiness, but when people are talking to each other back and forth, the
Couldn't
backgrounds
tell.
looked a lot more detailed and like acceptable.
I mean, this is a technology that could completely destroy Netflix's anime department if Amazon uses it in a mean-spirited way. I mean, if this is how, just imagine if the Dragon Ball Super anime, because that was also a complete 3D environment.
Mm-hmm.
If that had looked this good, I think people would have been a little bit more okay with some of that stuff.
I think Dragon Ball is cheating though, because when you sit down to watch a Dragon Ball episode, you almost have to put your brain on idle. Like thinking is
Sure.
a sin.
I
So-
mean, Lupin has similar properties.
I'm looking for the jokes. I'm looking for the gaps.
You're gonna cause a war here. I can just see it. There's gonna be people in the comments section. That's fine.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
good,
fine.
it's good.
Look, okay, I give you this, Yesh. It's a whodunit, right? So you have to be thinking about who is going to show up, and yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. This movie takes place, I don't know, modern day kind of time period, probably. Seems that way.
Yeah, it's a lot more modern. People have cell phones, which is very uncommon in a Lupin movie.
And it's also
but I think
in
that was
the real
forced-
world
yeah.
again. more than a fictional country. So we actually like this is happening in Paris or around Paris.
Actual Paris and actual Germany are involved, which is very unusual for Lupin. But like I was saying, I think that time period and location was more forced by the Cat's Eye, because it's a collab, and the Cat's Eye specifically takes place in a more Parisian art environment.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
They probably had to push Lupin into that a bit.
So yeah, I mean it's more real worldy than generally you get in the Lupin the third kind of property. We have seen Japan and we have seen like Hong Kong and stuff. I think in some of the other movies.
Actual Japan, yeah.
Yeah. Well, actual fictional Japan. But yeah, this one. Me and Dylan predicted like instantaneously the moment. Let's get his name.
Jewish genes, Chris.
Yeah.
It's because like we've evolved. Our ancestors evolved to know.
So a man called Heinrich Berger walks onto stage, and me and Dylan are, oh, the Nazis have arrived. And Yesha's like, oh no, don't be ridiculous. You get Germans, they're not all Nazis.
I literally said that. Not all Germans are Nazis. This guy is
true.
introducing
It's
himself with his
true.
name. He's not hiding anything. It can't be a Nazi.
No, but they were Nazis all the way down here.
It was Nazis all the way down. Unfortunately, I was completely incorrect. My two hosts were quite right immediately.
And it was just it wasn't just like normal Nazis. We had old fashioned Nazis, we had neo Nazis, we had Nazi blood rites being performed. This movie went hardcore.
The blood right Nazis.
They love their German weaponry as well.
Yeah.
They put in that anyone they could. There were H&Ks, there were Glocks, there were everything.
So what is this movie about? Dylan?
So,
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, yeah.
Oh gosh. It is like a sort of heist adventure film. So it opens with sort of a chopped heist scene, as far as I'm aware. One in which Lupin is busy stealing, I think, a gem, and the other in which the three heroines, they're three sisters, but they are heisting a painting. And it's like very quickly revealed that they're good thieves in that they're stealing paintings that should have belonged to them anyway, because their father painted them.
Yes, yeah.
And those paintings will basically lead whoever's holding them and knows about them to finding gems that are used in a ritual.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure it's entirely like a logical thread that the paintings are necessarily connected to anything in this particular instance, but yeah,
well,
yeah.
There's a very simple logic to it. The father stole the gems previously with Lupin, and then he put the gems in the paintings to hide them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
anyway,
yeah.
The ritual grants whoever successfully completes it success, and if they don't successfully complete it, they will die. And there is a Nazi organization that has previously attempted to conduct a ritual, not succeeded. That leader died, and the wheel turns yet again. So it's like a race between various groups, including Lupin, our three.
So yeah, these Nazi blood rites have to be done directly under the Louvre, which is, I guess,
apparently as well. Yeah,
I guess why Cat's Eye is sort of involved in this, because where else would art thieves, have their base? But near the source of most of the fine art on the planet.
I mean, that was also explained to a certain extent. The Nazis are hiding as a militarized group that sells weapons around the world. And the method they use to sell illegal weapons to more violent groups that international companies would not be able to sell to is they use art to transfer large wads of money to each other.
Yeah.
So underneath the Louvre is a cache of hidden stolen art
Yes.
that is supposed to be used to transfer weapons between countries.
I think that's another scene that had me and Dylan just like burst out laughing. We just saw all like the stolen Nazi art. Anyway,
That's where the gold was.
Yeah.
I remember an exclamation.
But I mean, okay. So yeah, this is about the three sisters. They're and Lupin kind of just like fumbles on in as he always does to these sort of situations. I mean, I can't even
I actually think that this is one of the best representations of Lupin that we've had in a while. Because when too much focus is placed on Lupin, they make him a much worse person, if that makes sense.
Sure, you know.
It's almost it is almost like we're predominantly following Hitomi, Ryu, and I, the three sisters.
The three sisters, yeah. But it makes Lupin's contributions feel very mixed up until you understand what he's doing, and then he's just like a good guy. And I want to feel like Lupin's a good guy, which some of the more recent Lupins have been a little bit shaky on.
A little ambiguous.
Yeah, no, he's got a bit of a hard side to him in those movies. He's
Which is
supposed to
fine.
The gentleman thief.
He's supposed to be like a 60s criminal as well. But yeah, like Dylan was just saying, he's got this very strong gentleman edge, which sometimes is missing from some of the more recent Lupin movies. But in this one, it's much more on display.
You know, if you take all of the Lupin movies as sort of canon, and you kind of ignore the fact that he doesn't age, it's just impressive how many bullets
He's
eaten and can still move around like he does. It's almost a John Wick level of harm that he's taken. But yeah, I mean,
but I think that that's part of the mythos.
He gets shot at a convenient time to the plot. Otherwise, he could have sort of solved the problem, I suppose. So he's taken out of commission at the height of the movie's climax. And
injured too much to be able to perform. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's the sort of it suggests that it's not exactly a Lupin movie, but a very very much an equal Cat's Eye versus Lupin split in time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it was like very clearly like that. Whoever had done this liked both the series and had like a good balance. They thought out, character histories and things like that. One of the things that was a bit interesting to listen to was the voice actors. Some of them came back for the Cat's Eye characters, and very clearly, like one of them is must be like a lady in her like late 50s, early 60s. And she's playing a 16-year-old in the story. It's somewhat distracting, I have to say. There's only so long you can play like a youthful voice and get away with it. I mean, she's doing her best, but it's not quite there anymore.
No.
It was I's actress. I was the youngest of the daughters as well.
Yeah, it was a bit much. They probably should have recast. But I'm sure people wanted the original voice actors to come back. And I guess
I can see why she was involved with this project. Born in 1957.
Right. Yeah, her father could have been involved with the Nazis. Probably was.
Wow.
Right, anyway. So, like, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Yeah, they Yeah, if you'd watched the original, I'm sure you'd be happy to have the original voice actors back for the role. Anyway.
Yeah. Callback.
I mean, it's like no one's calling for Masako, the voice actress of Goku, to change, even though she's like 86 or whatever.
When 70% of your lines are I don't know.
I mean, she can scream. She's got a good set of lungs in her. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not too much more to this movie than that. Really, it's classic heist, relatively entertaining, short and to the punch. Not a lot of faffing about. Had a couple of bait and switch moments. None of them were particularly surprising, except maybe from Lupin, where he's dealing with the junior Nazi. I kind of expected that to go differently.
Yeah.
He understands that people make mistakes and he wants to give chances. I think that's the thing about Lupin.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm with Chris on the only good Nazi is dead.
No, I'm
that's
there
the
with
thing
you.
you said, right? And that I agree with. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I get confused sometimes, Chris.
Right. Just no one's
but
advocating
I just
killing people. We just have to be clear about that.
Oh, do we? Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
But I do think that it's very consistent that we have some people who have made some bad choices, and Lupin wants to give them a chance.
Oh, I guess one thing.
I mean, he goes back to being a Nazi, doesn't he? I mean, like,
I think he does. I fully
he's
think
the leader
he
of the. He's the new leader of the Nazi organization that deals with weapons.
I'm not saying it's a great ending. I'm saying it's very consistent with what Lupin would do.
In my mind, it's headcanon that Fujiko somehow gets involved at the end.
Right.
And does a
it's
mass
amusing.
transfer from the Nazi organization into her bank account whilst they all get stuck on a train that goes, careening off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. That's
Fujiko's
exactly
much
what
more
happened.
of the permanent ending for characters in this show. But
Yeah.
it's amusing to me that in this one, with Nazis, they decided not to put her with the Nazis. So she is originally part of a group that's buying weapons from the Nazis, and she was about to betray them before Lupin destroys everything.
Yes.
In historical Lupin stuff, she has worked with Nazis and been fake Nazi herself.
I mean, she was.
And then she's
well, no,
"Not so bad, guys.
She was
Just gotta
literally
get-"
in SS outfit during the train scene.
I know she was literally in an SS outfit at one point. But they expressly said that was another nation's army that was trying to get weapons from the Nazis. They were not themselves Nazis.
Okay.
They were taking their gear. They were going to make a deal. And Fujiko was there to screw them. But then Lupin came and ruined the deal. Yes, that could be interpreted incorrectly. Fujiko was there to Fujiko then.
Well, good old Fragiko. And her.
But at the end of this movie as well, she abandons the entire storyline because she's not interested in the girls. And then she just sails off with the loot that Lupin and Jigen got at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
The Comet something.
So this was done by Amazon, and as a result, it got quite a lot of attention in dubs and things. Mm-hmm. So we do have a bunch of different dubs if people are interested in it, and there is a German one. I wonder how that would how that would be to watch. I imagine it might be a bit disturbing to have some of these characters portrayed by German voice actors, and seeing that could be either interesting or a bit weird. But yeah, I'm happy to see that Amazon's taking an interest in
actual
some of these
anime.
older properties as well, and kind of trying to make something of them. It'd be fun to investigate some of those 80s and 90s classic anime, and give this sort of treatment to them. See if anything takes off again.
I think I'm too cynical because I'm viewing this as if Seto Kaiba was trying to take over the anime industry.
Okay.
Screw loyalty. I have money.
Yeah, true. At least with Amazon there is some sort of direct hierarchical kind of responsibility to at least make money. And so we've seen like things that have done quite poorly, like for example, Rings of Power not making not getting enough clicks through and such things. They changed directors and whatnot at least. On the other hand, like Netflix just kind of keeps on keeping on, I guess. And who knows what the structure there thinks about anything. But yeah, I mean, I would like them just to keep throwing money into this pit, even if it's not making them any money.
I would love to see some rehashes of some old stuff. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some of those 90s animes coming back as well. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for us this week. Probably a bit of a shorter one. Hope everyone enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ciao for now.
It was good.
Yeah.
Bye.